my Lord Archbishops and Bishops, my brother priests, religious men and women, seminarians, officials, especially the supreme officials of the Knights of Marshall and the Knights of St. John International and the Ladies Auxiliary. All other protocol observed for lack of time. I must say that I'm so delighted to see all of you here today. There are so many people that I didn't expect to see. But to my surprise, as I went round blessing you, I've seen you among the congregation. I can't thank you enough for your kindness, your presence, and your support. Ever since the announcement was made that I was to take the mantle after the Most Reverend Joseph Osei-Bunsu as the second bishop of this beautiful Diocese of Konongo-Mampong, I have received prayerful best wishes, kind words of support and encouragement, and I have really experienced the share of joy of many, many people. There were those who called me expressing their joy and their prayerful best wishes that I didn't even know where they were. Of special mention may be some of the students who passed through my hands when I was the Catholic chaplain at KNUST. Some of them called me from all over the corners of this world, wishing me well and telling me what they've been doing since they left Ghana. And almost to a person, they said, you made a very deep impression on our lives when we were at the Catholic chaplaincy of KNUST. And that got me reflect on my ministry the many years that I was there. And I thought they were talking about somebody else and not me. Because little did I know that the little that I did really was used by God to touch people's hearts. I'm grateful, therefore, to God for everything that He has done through me and will continue to do with me. As a matter of fact, I had never seen an ordination of any kind except sometime in 1970, I think, in the month of March, when as a small boy of 13 years old, I happened to have climbed the stairs of the St. Peter's Cathedral, hidden myself among the St. Peter's choir, and wanted to take a glimpse of everything that was going on, because the then Father Peter Akwesisapon was going to be ordained a bishop. None of the ceremony really touched me, and I must confess that when the then Father Peter Akwesisapon prostrated and laid down on the floors of the altar of St. Peter's Cathedral, something like some chilling spines went through me, as if all my bones and my veins have been put in some cold room that my blood had even frozen. For a brief moment, I didn't know where I was. But in no time, I regained some consciousness and began paying attention to everything that went on. And after the ordination mass, and I had gone there with my father, while going home to Asantinu town, I told my father, I want to be like that man. And he asked me, whom are you talking about? And I said, the man who lay down on the floors of the altar at St. Peter's Cathedral, the thing that we just saw. And he asked me, can you do it? And I said, yes, I will try. And he said, no, you can't. It's a long process. And you are going to be studying, and at some point you might easily get disillusioned and might want to come home. And so you can't do it. And I said, I will do it. I will try. Somehow, the following year, 1971, God had a way of putting me at St. Hubert's Minor Seminary to start my formation, over and against my father's wishes of wanting me to go to Opoku-Agyemang Secondary School. I went through the process, and now here I am. There were points in my life that God seemed to be saying things to me, and I would brush them off, and then would think that they were whimsical thoughts of people who probably wish me well. Because at some point, I got people who would call me and tell me, oh, I dreamed and you were a bishop. Or there was a big gathering and you were right in front there and they were putting some crown on you. Some people saw this day from afar, when in actual fact, I did not believe it. All I wanted to be was to be a priest. And God had helped me to be a priest. And I thought I would do just what I could to be a good priest, despite my inadequacies and my humanness. Indeed, there was a chief at KNUST who would visit me sometime in the evening. After Mass, he will come and we will sit down and talk. His name was Nana Efriye II Amwamahine, and he has gone to his eternal rest. At KNUST, he was the chief who would come to my house, and then as we were talking, he would expose some Asante culture and some kind of Asante practices to me. And then sometimes he would say, Father, you will one day be a bishop. I told Bishop Sapon when he was the rector of St. Peter's Major Seminary in Bedu that he will one day be a bishop. And sure enough, he became a bishop. You too, you will one day be a bishop. So that kind of rang the bell in me about the point of contact by which God called me to be a priest. And it wasn't just Nana Uswafriye alone. I have several examples of people who will come to me or call me and say, we saw this. It's indeed as earliest times as November 1st last year. There is an 80-year-old woman who came to the seminary because we did investiture. And everybody was going, but this woman was sitting under the trees with somebody that I also know from KNUST, and I've seen that man here. The woman came to me and said, well, he's going to tell me about how she celebrated 80 years and what Father Anthony and the people did for her, and she's so grateful. So if I meet Father Anthony, I should thank them for her. Then before she left, he said, Father, do you remember what I told you many, many years ago when you were at KNUST? I said, yes. I have been praying about it. He said, God asked me to come and tell you that his promise will come true. This was November 2024. By this time, the process of getting a bishop in Konongo-Mampong was going on. But, you know, I was thinking like Abraham. Now, would a son be born to a man of 100 years? This is what Abraham was talking to God in Genesis chapter 17, verse 17, when God said, I will give you a son. And Abraham says, would a son be born to a man of 70, 100, I should say? Because I was looking at myself that, who am I? Normally they will want to pick a younger guy who is very agile and active. And I have spent all my days wanting to form people in various positions. And so maybe I should start singing my Num Demetis. So what is it about? God asked me to come and tell you that what I told you many, many years ago when we were at K University will come to pass. So I said, her name is Auntie Esther. I said, Auntie Esther, thank you, but I just laugh it off and said, you just pray. If it is God's will, it will come to pass. And the man that she came with is right here, and I guess as I'm relating to this, he might even remember. The long and short of it is this. God had a way that I didn't understand, that I didn't know, to prepare me for today. And that is why I am so confident that he who has begun this work will finish it. And he will have his own way of finishing it. It might not be my strength, it might not be my wisdom, it might not be anything of mine, but it will be his to do his work. And that is why all glory is given to him for everything he has done and for all that he will do in future. I thank the Holy Father for whatever he too and his team of consultants and the Holy Office may have seen, and in choosing me and asking me to do this. It is in humility that I accept this role and responsibility. Because I know that I am very, very weak and inadequate. That's why when you look at my coat of arms, the text that I chose is simply, God is my strength. He will be my strength. Because I thought that there's nothing that at 66 I would want to start all afresh and do with vim and maybe courage. But God works in mysterious ways, and his will is to be done. To you, Most Reverend Joseph Osebos, we are most grateful for 29 solid years of service and starting this diocese. God has used you in several ways, and I think he will continue to use you too, even as you take a retirement seat. You are still a priest of this diocese. You are still a bishop of this diocese. Please don't bury your gifts, nor shelve yourself from whatever you can do to promote and help us. You are now like a grandfather who would want to look around what's there for the good of future generations. Please, we will be wanting to relate to you as a grandfather, wanting your good counsel and wanting to partner you no matter the years that God will give you. I want to thank now my brother bishops who have come from all over the country. I'm so grateful that almost everybody is here. I was telling the president just before Mass started where we were at the cathedral that when I was on retreat and I was reflecting on some of the things that have happened to me in my life, something just struck me that in the year 2009, when I was to leave KNUST to go to St. Gregory Seminary and start a seminary, I had gone to Accra to give my last report to the Bishops' Conference. The then Bishop of Lora was the president of the conference. After I had given my report and all the questions answered, Bishop Lucas Abalamlora thanked me, and in his closing remarks he said, one day I pray that you will sit with us in this room in council. No bishop said anything. Neither did I say anything. But as I went on retreat, the idea came to me that did Bishop of Andorra also hear, or did he know something that I didn't know? Except to acknowledge the fact that maybe God was speaking and I didn't pay attention. Earlier on, I think a year or so before, I had given a report to yet the same council, and I had answered all the questions they asked. And it was Archbishop Sapon who, when they had all said their comments, thanking me for good work, and I remember Bishop Philip Name saying, you always come to give us hope. Because I always report on what's going on at KNUST with Pax Romana, with the young people, and with various church committees. Then Bishop Sapon says, that's my dean. Because at that time, I was the dean of Asamwase. As soon as he finished saying that's my dean, my own bishop, Joseph Osebonsu, says, that's my priest. So Archbishop Sapon said, that's my dean. And Bishop Joseph also said, that's my priest. So it went on, and I kept quiet. There was this other chaplain, I think it was a chaplain to the army, who was sitting right behind me. And he tapped me on my shoulder, and he said, Father, you must be a very lucky man. And I said, Father, why? He said, I have never seen it within bishop circles that two bishops will fight over one priest. Again, these things came to me when I was on retreat, that maybe I should have listened. All the things that were going on, that God had a plan. God had a plan. And I should not have thought that those who would come to me and say anything were just sharing with me their whimsical thoughts. So all of you, my brother bishops who are here today, I am most grateful for your presence. Maybe the prayer Bishop Lucas said is what is before you today and what you are witnessing. Sure enough, we will meet at the conference room and sit in council with you. To all my brother priests and religious men and women of this beautiful diocese, I thank you for your words of encouragement and your support. I thank you for everything that you have done in preparing the way for me. I come to you as your brother. I told my seminarians on March 21st when the announcement was made that I was still John Opoku-Agyemang, their rector. And I still want to do what the rector is to do. And I don't want to shy away from any responsibility of mine, because I am convinced that when you do what is expected of you, you do it for God. You don't do it for yourself, neither do you do it for a human being. It's for God that you're doing it. So, all my brother priests, religious men and women, co-workers, all the other societies in the leadership in the diocese, please, I come to you as a brother, your brother John Opoku-Agyemang, and I will want to work with you. I know that we being Catholics have been praying the rosary, and you know the mysteries in the rosary, and I would like to cite that as an example for all of us. You know, the rosary is supposed to be our life, and as we meditate on those mysteries, we must be thinking about our lives, how God has passed through our lives, or will continue to pass through our lives. Certainly, there will be days that we will be reciting or praying the joyful mysteries. There will be times of joy for all of us, where we will be called upon to celebrate. And it will remind us that God is with us, like Mary was reminded, Elizabeth was reminded, and John the Baptist was reminded that God was very present in the joyful mysteries. Of course, there will be times that we will have to recite or pray the sorrowful mysteries. In those times, we will be looking at our struggles and our challenges. But we should not forget that Jesus, the Lord, has gone through it before. He has journeyed the sorrowful mysteries before we ever got started. So even in the sorrowful mysteries, Jesus will be with us. Then there will be the mysteries of light. By his light, we will see light itself. And that is why we should not shy away when the Lord throws some light on us by the way we live, by the way we minister, by the way we work. Those are the mysteries of light, or the luminous mysteries, that God points away to us, that this is his light, follow. And that's exactly what I want to think the luminous mysteries will stand for us. And finally, and ultimately, it will lead to the glorious mysteries. When we pass through it all, certainly we will all share the glory of the saints one day, where God wants all of us to be. Therefore, let all of us be of joyful hope and have cheerful spirits, that the foundations laid will be built upon, and we will carry on to the ultimate end, the mission that God entrusts to us. So thank you all very much, especially the planning committee, the various committees, and everybody who has done anything to make today's celebration a very joyful and important one. Bishop Jemfi ended his sermon on, and I heard Bishop Fion also mentioning something about the solemnity of the Most Sacred Heart of Jesus. I don't think it was for fun that today's celebration happened on the Most Sacred Heart of Jesus feast day. We would want to hope and pray that we will all be bounded by the love of God shown to us in Christ Jesus. And in his love, we will all live and move and have our being. Thank you very much.